Hello, beautiful Taurus. This is Mary Ellen, coming to you once again from Moonrise Cottage for your April 2018 Soul Tarot reading. Happy spring, everyone. I'm so relieved. It's been a brutal winter here. I'm going to toggle over and say hello in a moment, but I'm starting with this photograph of this beautiful butterfly because of a magical event that happened here. That butterfly flew into my house about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, something like that, just after a vicious snowstorm and just before a storm that came following that. We had three humongous storms in I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something. It was really intense. And there came a day when the sun came out, it got really warm, and I went out on my little deck and I thought I'm just going to take a chair and sit there and absorb some of the sunshine because it's been just so difficult this winter. When I came back in the house and shut the door, this butterfly was sitting on the desk where I do the readings. And you guys know me now. I kind of burst into tears. I was really overwhelmed. There is no way that I understand as a human being that this event would happen still in the grip of hard winter. And how she got here, I don't know. That is a female black swallowtail butterfly. So she lived in my house for a couple of weeks. We had a lot of communication. I finally did a live stream. So there's a live stream on the playlist. Go check it out if you want to understand the messages, and we'll talk about it a little bit. Clearly, it's about transformation. And the messages that have been coming through from Spirit, let me toggle over and say hi. Hi, everyone. Have been all about transformation. And the process that we've been going through all of 2017 was to prepare us for the transformation that was going to be needed. Okay, Spirit saying through the journey of the solstice and then coming forward into the first quarter of 2018, a solidification of that understanding. And so the message is, of course, about the culmination of that transformation. Spirit's been talking a lot about evolving and emerging here in the first part of 2018. So to have this significant event, Spirit's saying prophetic, driving home the message and letting us know through this very unusual event that is complete. And that's what's been coming through the cards. So I was thrilled to have that confirmation. I just want to share that with you, and we'll jump in. So I'm going to transition back so you can look at that beautiful butterfly. For those of you that don't know, I use the beautiful Celtic Tarot, wisdom cards developed by Caitlin Matthews. If you are new to the channel, welcome. It's wonderful to have all the new folks who are showing up to say hello. I love having the increase of energy that's going on through this channel, which is still relatively new. I just went past my 1-year anniversary. Thank you so much for being here to all the subscribers and returning viewers. I really appreciate the company, and I'm very grateful that you're offering me your love and support in an ongoing way as I continue. So we're going to do a little review of March. And as I go through the reading, we'll talk a little bit more about the butterfly, but there she is. It was truly a very, for me, a magical, mystical moment when this beautiful girl showed up. Let's take a look at the cards for March and just do a review. It's interesting, impactful to me that the butterfly arrived here, because the story of the cards in March was a continuation of this transformation and emerging. And your energy was under the guidance of the rememberer of lore. And Spirit basically saying, that's the theme that wants to be spoken about last month in the reading. And under that light, under that idea, you were it was being demonstrated to you, Spirit says, that you were standing in this very sacred place. This beautiful foundation of knowledge, sacred knowledge, in order to receive the transition and finish evolving and emerging. Because what was coming forward in April was the new path for the remainder of this year. Pardon me. And part of that was finishing the transition, finishing the culmination of your emergence into a new place so that you can walk forward. Spirit was speaking through the beautiful warrior of impulse on the bottom left, the warrior of skill, who responds to sacred impulse, the impulse to emerge and come forward. Next to that, we see the beautiful goddess. That is the high priestess in the traditional tarot. Here in Soul Tarot, she is the guardian of the gateway. And so your impulse standing upon this sacred foundation, under the light of the rememberer of sacred lore, was to go to the gateway for the completion of your transformation. And the next card, the mover of energy, in order, of course, to move forward. The spirit card that indicates the transition and the connection between your soul journey and your human walk was beautiful male-informed energy, the decider of will. That is a major arcana card. It is the first major arcana card in the deck. Spirit's talking about the beginning of all things. In this new transition that you have experienced, bringing to you the will to stand in the sacred foundation and move the energy forward into a place of balance. So if you look at the top row of cards, we see this beautiful indication of balance. That is also a major arcana card. And that card is the balancer of harmony. And sitting next to it, to the right, we see the keeper of harmony. That is the transition that you are involved in. And being in this place on the soul level, that is the journey that your soul is making. An effort to bring balance, the balance that harmony brings into our existence. And because of that shift that your soul is working on, making harmony the central focus of your soul destiny. Of course, the very next card is the beautiful woman, the woman of skill, who's here to help you understand that on a soul level, you hold the sacred spool of destiny in your hands, and you are able, the work your soul is doing, is to wind the thread of soul destiny around the Tower of Inspiration. And Spirit's urging me to sort of reflect back to the human realm, to ask you to see deeply into the cards, how the human walk is connected so deeply and so beautifully with what is happening on a soul level. And the outcome card is the strength card. That is the empowerment of will. So in the core of the reading, we have the decider of will, the foundation of knowledge, the rememberer of sacred lore, and the empowerment of will. Very strong central message in this reading with a beautiful reflection. As above, so below, Spirit always says. So let's take a look at the cards for April and see how the story continues. One of the things that was really impactful for me when the cards came out was looking at the similarities in the types of cards that came through and obviously the continuation of the message. I'm going to get there, but I want you to take a look at the top row of cards. We see in the middle the beautiful warrior of skill, standing again aligned with the sacred guardian of the gateway. That phase of your journey that you were transitioning through on the human realm last month has been transitioned completely into the spiritual realm. And the advent of the butterfly helping to announce for all of us that this moment of shift and change is complete. And I was talking about it last month, and now that has transitioned into the spirit realm, and we are ready to go forward in a way that is very profound. The first card this month is the Judgement of Art. The moment when you realize on a spiritual basis and have some time to think about where you've been and how far you've come and the shift and change that you have literally made, Spirit says. This vessel has a line all the way through it. There's a line of demarcation that has been crossed, and we've had all the messages that I've been talking about that have come as a form of confirmation as you take the steps forward, what Spirit's calling into the very active phase of 2018. And I've been talking about new adventures and all the things that are going to come. So the first step, the Spirit message, the theme, is this beautiful judgment when we understand the line of demarcation and that we have crossed over. This vessel, the place in which we stood prior to these moments, was not stable. We all know that. And our soul journey is meant to bring us to a stable place of new growth and shift and change. I love that it's a vessel and that the left side of the vessel is stable and filled with water, abundance, love energy, understanding, commitment to maintaining the sacred lore that Spirit spoke about last month. It's a beautiful start and continuation, to that which was being spoken about, Spirit says. The very next card, again, continuing the message from last month, is a major arcana card. That is the Counselor of Truth. So last month, you were standing on this very sacred foundation, the foundation of knowledge. That was the energy that you were being imbued with, Spirit says, in order to come to a deeper understanding. And this month you have arrived. That is the Counselor of Truth. It is the Sacred Hermit in the traditional Tarot. The mythology of this card is about coming in to yourself and your understanding of the truth of spiritual knowledge in your own life, the way in which you stand in the human realm in this aspect, being able to become a touchstone for yourself to continue your journey. I love that this is here, giving you, Spirit saying, certain clarity about the place in which you stand now, having progressed because of the foundation of knowledge last month and becoming ready to have the journey in 2018. You needed to be solidified in your place and to be able to be very quiet within yourself and able to access the touchstone of wisdom that the Guardian was speaking about last month. It's a beautiful progression. The next card, the first card on the human walk, is all about that transition. So having made that transition, we understand that you have been liberated. Your evolution and your emergence is complete. That is the liberator of devotion. Because you stand in this really strong place with the Hermit and the notion that comes through that, it has brought you through and continues to bring you further into the deepest aspect of this type of a human joined soul journey. Last month, we talked about the gateway, and this is a depiction of the feminine energy, the gateway through which souls must transition in order to incarnate here. So this phase of your soul journey, being reincarnated, being transformed, evolving into this new place, now very solid here in your human walk. That's incredibly exciting to me. Quite beautiful. Your devotion has been liberated because the transition is complete. The very next card is the Keeper of Harmony. It's a phenomenal movement. Last month, the Keeper of Harmony was in the spirit realm, standing above the foundation of knowledge and the guardian of the gateway. This month, the movement that you have made is so profound that that energy now rests on the human realm next to the gateway. And Spirit's nudging me in the background to make sure that I drive home this point so that you clearly understand the movement that has happened. You are now standing in a place in your own life where your soul journey comes into direct contact with your human walk. And I don't know that there's anything more beautiful than that. And that having become the new foundation, if you will, the new way in which your human life goes forward, sitting right next to that is the protector of lore. That which the beautiful transmitter of information is sitting in March as the Spirit card. Take a look. It's gorgeous. That was the theme of the reading. The Rememberer of Lore. And now in the human realm, in April, we see the beautiful protector of lore. That is about standing in the light of the sun, fully illuminated by the wisdom of the ancients. The human walk this month is incredibly empowered, Spirit says, because of the journey that you've been having. And Spirit wants you to really connect with the evolution and the emergence that's happening with the link between your soul journey and the experience that you are having on the human realm. Being able to really be invested with that and be connected with your soul journey in a very aware state of being. It's a truly supportive confirmation, if you will. There it is. Standing on the sacred ground of the ancients. Tattooed in a way, marked in these beautiful way, with full transformation having occurred. We know that from the purple garments. And the cycle of this phase of our being having been completed. The protector of lore brings us in line with all that is sacred and the abundance that is meant to come to us in the full light of the sun because of that transition. Truly beautiful. This month, Spirit is talking about stand in the awareness of yourself. Under the light of the Judgement of Art, you have the moment now to stand in this way of complete inner understanding. And in that moment, through the month of April, there is a desire for you to become deeper into your understanding of your growth. And that is why the bridge card on the far left of the center row stands where it does, just above the liberator of your devotion. So for those of you that haven't seen this card, that is the dialogue of knowledge. And once again, you see how that gentleman is pointing right at the sacred spiral of shift and change? That is about a young man whose father was a wisdom holder, and he was out having his adventures. His dad passed away. He had to return and take up the seat of the wisdom holder because he was the lineage. He didn't feel ready. He was really frightened and overwhelmed. So he put on this sort of funny-looking fake beard, and he went and sat in the chair, and he was just kind of trying to fake it till he made it, A friend of his father's came, one of the elders, also a wisdom holder, to have a discussion with him and to sort of check in and pay homage to his dad and talk to him about the wisdom that was held within this position. And the young man finally said, you know what? I got to step off the chair. I'm not ready. I just wasn't prepared for this moment. It just happened in such a sudden way. I'm going to relinquish my seat, and I would like you to come and sit here so that I can continue being a student. And please be my mentor, and I will take up my position when the time is right. So the older gentleman said, okay, and he went and sat in the chair, took the scepter, And the first thing he did was install this young man back into the chair. And basically the story is you are ready. Of course it comes in a moment when you don't expect. That's what the journey's about. Transition and evolution and emergence happens in its own time frame. And again, Spirit's talking to me about the butterfly. Please understand this message was sent for us to know that we're ready. And yes, of course we're young, and of course it's new, and we might not feel prepared, but it's okay, because it's the link between this human evolution and the spirit journey that goes forward because of the work and the desire you have on a soul level. It's a beautiful, beautiful, loving, supportive message. So the first card on the spirit realm is the Sacred Mother. And when we look at the left-hand column of cards, we see the Liberator of Devotion. About the Death card, about transition, about shift and change coming, in order to be a keeper of sacred harmony by standing on the ground of the ancients. This beautiful transition is being assisted by the Sacred Mother, through which all souls must come. And so we see the tutelage, if you will, the student part of this message at the transition, confirming that it's okay to not know and to not feel ready, but to completely understand that you stand within yourself now, whole in the knowledge of all these things. The dialogue of knowledge stands right next to the touchstone, the counselor of truth. It is very clear to me as a reader that you are ready, Taurus. You have come to the place that you need to be standing within yourself in order to take this transition, this next movement that connects your soul journey to your human walk. And what a beautiful gift to have 3 major arcana cards in a row on the human walk. And the transition into the next phase of 2018 being spoken about as being in the position of a young wisdom holder, ready to take up more knowledge and to go forward with destiny. And so the left side column of cards, we see that young man sitting on his chair, completely embraced by the sacred feminine, the transition through the portal, and then the Sacred Mother that assists souls in their movement, bringing with them all the gifts they will need in order to be successful in this new adventure that is the shaper of growth. Spirit's talking to me again about wanting to be really clear with you about the amount of love there is for you in the universe and how well you are embraced and supported in this journey, and how happy, how much joy there is on the spirit realm that you have been successful in your journey, and a lot of thank yous coming through. So the Sacred Mother, the shaper of growth, once again, we see the warrior of skill, transitioning due to the sacred impulse that comes because of the new phase of the journey that you're in. There will be a new impulse that your soul will feel. And that movement from the human realm to the sacred realm is a very important notation, Spirit says. Your soul is prepared to go on the next phase of its journey. And it is reflected on the human realm by 3 major arcana cards, letting you know that you're standing, in a sense, in a very exalted place in your human existence. And just as last month, the warrior of skill stands looking directly into the guardian of the gateway, who gazes back at him and awaits for the sacred impulse to bring him into her realm. And again, the movement of yin and yang energy, the way in which that energy creates the sacred spiral of change, the power, the wind, Spirit says, on the sacred level that creates the movement of the yin and yang. Interestingly enough, I found it really profound, impactful, Spirit says, is a better word, that the outcome card is the foundation of knowledge. clearly, last month, let me show you the cards from last month again so you can remember. The foundation of knowledge was the aspect in which you were standing. On this foundation, under the light of the rememberer of lore. And this month, we have this beautiful foundation of knowledge as the outcome. It is a clear indication that the foundation of knowledge upon which you stand has been renewed. Your soul has taken a leap. That's what all the discussion about evolving and emerging and transforming was about. And then we had this beautiful visitor to come and confirm for us that yes, it's true. Magic things happen. Mystical things evolve. Sometimes in a moment when it doesn't seem that it would come in the way it does, in the midst of all the storms. So one of the things that Spirit's been talking about is Pluto. This month, every reading, Spirit's talking about Pluto. Wanting to just confirm for us that we are still under the beautiful transition of Pluto, who rests in the first house of Capricorn, bringing all this massive upheaval that we see almost any place you want to look. Everybody knows what's going on in the United States, right? I mean, if none of us would ever have believed that this could be what we're transitioning through, but it's about the upheaval of power structures and the change that has to come by creating this upheaval in a sort of a volcanic way, like earthquakes, right? That's the power of Pluto, shredding form and making us stand in a place where we have to look in the mirror and see what we are co-creating, to have a discussion and decide if that's what we want. And what the cards are telling me is the answer is we want something new. We'd like to change. Our souls have a destiny. That's why you're here in these moments with all this upheaval. So when at all possible, love it and send it your positive thoughts and energy so that this transition can go forward, because clearly there's a shift and change that is deeply desired on a soul level that will be reflected in our human walk. So as individuals, our responsibility is to understand that, be real clear about it. Spirit's talking again about the counselor of truth, wanting to continue to have a conversation with you about the truth that we're talking about. And, you know, it's not about being cemented, Spirit says, into your position. It's about looking deep within and listening to what your heart chakra is telling you and responding to that sacred impulse, because you are the touchstone of sacred truth in these moments as we go forward. You know, Spirit's been talking a lot, the last reading that I just did, recorded prior to this one, Spirit was talking about politics and things like that. And I don't want to get into that in my readings, right? I don't care on some level, you know, what your religion is, what your spiritual practice is, what your political affiliation is. The message from Spirit is, no matter what you think, understand the changes upon us and go to the deepest part of your nature to seek the change in your human life and to bring the knowledge that you hold within yourself to the foreground so that you can assist the change that is coming. Because clearly, the impact of Pluto is assisting our soul journey. And so all of us that are here, we incarnated into these moments in order to have these experiences. You know, and we're shocking ourselves, aren't we? It's really shocking what's going on. And not just here in the U.S., every place you look, there's some kind of power structure upheaval going on. Political, Spirit saying, political tides are changing. And in order for change and shift to happen in a way that is solid and real, part of what happens is the dominant power structure digs in their heels really hard. And those that are asking for change are considered to be the heretics. And eventually, if you look at history, the heretics usually, the Spirit saying Jesus was a heretic. Okay, perfect example, Spirit says. So look deeper into the truth that you know within you. and understand that the foundation that you were standing on last month has become the outcome card because it has itself been renewed and has evolved into a new place in order to go forward into the journey that will come next month. Thank you so much, Taurus. You folks are such fabulous warriors. I'm really thrilled to be able to get these messages out for you. And I want to thank you really so much from my heart. I try to always remember this, to send out my gratitude because, as a human being, I'm obviously seeing these readings coming out, and I see the tapestry that Spirit was talking about in 2017 and coming through the solstice. So if you're having some thoughts and feelings, if you're having some experiences, if you're having some, Spirit's talking about prophetic dreams, the dreams of your soul in these moments, having made this transition, please share that if you feel so inclined. It helps us all, and it teaches me a lot. And I really like to know what you are experiencing when I see cards that look like this. So have a wonderful month of April. Enjoy the spring. I know some of you folks are in New Zealand and Australia, so the seasons are changing for you in the opposite way. But I'm always very eager to hear what is happening. Okay, so Spirit's talking about, before I stop, Spirit's talking about the yin and yang of the earth pattern energy as we shift from season to season, and some places moving into winter and some places moving into summer. Understand that also has an effect. So I will leave you with the cards, and I look forward very much, as always, to speaking with you next month. Thanks, everyone. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to say, if you don't know, my website's up. You can click on that from the description below the video. If you'd like a reading or medium services or energy healing, any of those things, go check out what the offerings are, and I'll look forward to connecting to you on a one-on-one basis. All right. Thanks, everyone.